The primary, secondary and tertiary sectors of the economy involve the production of a large number of goods and services. Every product or service has a value and comes at a price. This value is also called the market price of that product or service. Now, let us see how the value of production in different sectors is calculated. Consider a car. Manufacturing a car requires using hundreds of metal, glass, plastic and rubber components that may be manufactured by many different industries. However, when you buy a car, you do not pay for its individual components separately. You only pay for the final value of the car that already includes the values of all its components. Therefore, only the final values of goods are used to calculate the production in a sector. Every year, the government collects data on the values of final goods and services produced in different sectors of our economy. The sum of the total production in the three sectors in a year for a country gives the gross domestic product or GDP for that country in that year. We can also say that the gross domestic product is equal to the total value of all final goods and services produced in a country in a year. GDP is a globally accepted indicator of the size and health of a country's economy. Let us now see how much different sectors contribute to the GDP of a country. Statistical data reveals that the contribution of different sectors to the GDP of a country depends on the state of development of that country's economy. An economy starts developing based on natural resources and products. Thus, at the initial stage of development, the primary sector is the biggest contributor to GDP. In a developing economy, industrialization creates fresh job opportunities and people start using more and more manufactured goods. This is the phase where the secondary sector becomes the biggest contributor to GDP. In developed countries, people can afford and demand more and more services, leading to a rapid growth in the tertiary sector. Thus, in developed countries, the tertiary sector is the biggest contributor to the GDP. The graph here shows the change in the contributions of the three sectors to India's GDP from 1973 to 2003. The graph shows that although all the three sectors expanded, the tertiary or services sector recorded the largest growth to become the largest sector in India's economy. This graph shows the change in the percentage contribution of GDP by the three sectors from 1973 to 2003. The graph shows a decline in the contribution to GDP from the primary sector, a marginal increase in the contribution from the secondary sector, and a significant rise from the tertiary sector. Now let us take a look at the reasons for such a rapid expansion of the tertiary sector. The tertiary sector has expanded due to the government's initiatives for the expansion of essential services like schools, hospitals, banks, postal services, police stations, local administration, and the army. Another reason for the expansion of the tertiary sector is the development of transport, trading, and storage services to support growth in agriculture and industries. Rising incomes of people and a growing demand for better services like private schools and hospitals, and leisure services like dining, hotels, shopping, and tourism have also contributed to the growth of the tertiary sector. The tertiary sector has also benefited from the rapid development and expansion of communication and information services over the past decade.